Hello, today I'll talk about meditation. Meditation is essentially the practice of letting go. I don't think that through meditation you can necessarily get what they call enlightenment. I don't think enlightenment really exists. It's just a name people have given to a certain state that sometimes people go into and then come out of, where they feel liberated and free and they realise a kind of oneness with everything. But initially, when one realises that, there's this exhilaration and this exaltation, and then everything becomes normal and mundane again. And that's really what you've got to get with, the normal mundanity. And that's where meditation comes in. Meditation isn't a means of getting knowledge that you wouldn't really have, or at least not the way I practice it, or I haven't experienced any kind of insight into some secret esoteric knowledge through meditation. But it has enabled me to live my life better, according to me. So in meditation, as I practice it, all I do is very simple, is I put my hands like that in my lap, I sit cross-legged, the typical kind of meditative posture. I don't think it matters how you sit. And I focus on the feeling in my hands. I close my eyes, and whenever I realise I'm distracted in thoughts and that I'm supposed to be meditating, that's what I've told myself to do, I bring myself back down to that feeling in the hands. And that's what I call the anchor point. And I think you can use anything you want as an anchor point, whatever makes sense to you or whatever works for you. A lot of people use the breath. There's body scanning. There's lots of different techniques you can use. You can speak mantras out loud or in your head. But essentially what you're doing is you're playing a game with your mind, and your mind wants to distract you from the anchor point, and you want to stay centered on the anchor point. And so the mind comes up with all sorts of thoughts, and it's trying to find stimulating thoughts, and thoughts that will stimulate you so much that you'll get lost in them. And so this is why it's basically practicing letting go, because you'll have this stimulating thought going on, and the practice is turning your head from that stimulating thought back to whatever your anchor point is. And it's beneficial for life, because a lot of the time we are addicted to our own suffering, and we run over again and again and again and again these thoughts, these negative thought patterns in our head. And the only way to kind of dispel them is through, I think, some form of meditative practice. Or if you want, you can use chemical kosh, like a kosh is a baton, and that's, you can go take some antidepressants or whatever, and they will also work, but they have bad side effects. Meditation seems to have all the pros but none of the cons, and for me it works very effectively. Even for combating addictions, if I become addicted to something and I want to get off of that, like say cannabis, then I'll just start meditating twice a day for 20 minutes. And then after a couple of days of that, a flick just switches in my head, and it becomes very easy to drop cannabis, especially. It's worked for other more kind of seriously addictive drugs that I've been hooked on before, like I talked about before with diazepam. Meditation is an incredibly beautiful experience as well. I've had experiences on it where when I've become kind of quite good at maintaining focus on the anchor, after a while it's like my whole body goes to sleep, but I'm still alert. There isn't an active alertness, it's not an effortful alertness, it's this open alertness that just lets stuff be. It's not, in the sense of the big be all and big be all and end all, it's not important, but in order to have a nice life, I've found meditation and mindfulness to be incredibly effective. Yeah. That's it really. It also enables me to get out of my own way more. It makes me forget myself more and become more spontaneous and kind of in normal everyday life. And it's helped me to become more loving towards people as well, because I found most people are like me. They just want to be listened, listened to. They're so self-obsessed and they want to be clapped. and applauded and heard. And I found through doing a meditative practice and practicing a lot of mindfulness, I'm able to just sit down and listen to people, actually pay attention to what they're saying without thinking in the back of my head how I'm going to respond. Because normally I'm listening to other people in order to respond to them. I don't know if you do that. I bet you probably do. I mean, I do it too. And I don't think it's bad. I think everybody's doing it. But you got to be the change you want to see, as Gandhi says. And if I want to be heard, then it's only right that I should hear as well. And meditation helps with that. Goodbye.